All right, we are live on Facebook, everyone. Welcome to Warrior Women in Business podcast, episode 25. I hope everybody is doing wonderful today. I'm very excited about today's podcast. We're going in a different direction today. We've been doing so much lately on helping women survive, giving them really poignant business tools and advice. The last, several episodes, as you've seen, even episode 24 was amazing, but it was really about business tips. What can you do to pivot? What can you do to grow your business? And there's always been this burning question, at least in the last 4 months, how do I look better on Zoom? Everybody is doing all these Zoom meetings and having Zoom fatigue. And how do you change up your style? How do you look good? How are you happy the next time you put on the camera? So I have brought together some experts in celebrity styling, from clothing to hair and makeup. I think on my next episode, I'm going to look amazing after today's show. So before we get into today's show, I wanted to introduce myself for those of you that don't know who I am, and also more importantly, introduce Warrior Women in Business, our mission, what this is all about. So my name is Jasmine Sandler. I am the host and producer of Warrior Women in Business, which is way more than a podcast. It's a series of events. It includes the Brand You Conference, which is on indefinite hold right now. And really the purpose and mission of Warrior Women in Business is to help women not only grow their businesses, but also to help them in the home, help them feel better about themselves. And I am a keynote speaker, trainer, author, and consultant in the area of personal branding for women. I take it from very much a business and branding angle. And so I know it's very important for women to feel good about themselves, not just in their careers and how much money they're making and growing their business, but also how they feel on how they look. So in the work that we do at Warrior Women in Business, we don't just focus on business advice. I look to bring in experts that can help my clients and audiences feel beautiful. So that's what today is going to be all about. So that being said, there'll be some really cool announcements that we're doing at the end. And just to give you an idea of like our run of show today, we're going to have a 10-minute, which may run over, I have a feeling, Q&A with our experts at the end. So please stay for the duration of this podcast. We'll probably go about an hour today. So with me today, I'm going to start with Tania Sterl. I'm just going to ask you to wave to the camera. Tania Sterl, who I have had the pleasure of working with several times over. She is an amazing stylist. She works primarily with women who are in their 40s or over 40s, and women that really want to feel great. She works with similar clients that I've worked with in terms of women that are powerhouses that want to get on stage and want to really feel good, as Tania says, even though they're going through some hard changes in their bodies, their hormones, and their lives. And she's amazing. She actually helped me get styled for my first Brand You conference. And not only did I think that I looked really powerful and authentic to who I am, but we also had a great time. So in the hands of Tania, you're going to have a great time. You're going to look better. So thank you, Tania, for being on. And then I have Fallon Fitzpatrick. Say hello, Fallon. So Fallon is a celebrity hairstylist, and she's also the founder of the New You School. And she is going to talk to us today about hair. And well, the first thing that I said to Fallon when I talked to her on the phone is like, I don't let anybody cut my hair. So, a hairstylist, as we all know, is very, very special to women. We don't necessarily trust just anyone. And she's been trusted by some of probably the most discerning clients. So I'm very happy to have her on today. And then I have Devorah Kuperhand. Say hello. So Glam By Dev. I actually found her on Facebook. She does a lot of great things in her Facebook group to encourage women to feel more beautiful about themselves, and puts on some really cool conversations. So she's gonna walk through how you can look beautiful in terms of your makeup and skin, which is all equally important. So with that being said, I wanted to thank you all for being on, and I want to jump right into our questions today, because after our questions, we're going to get into our live demos. So that being said, I'm going to go around the panel just so the audience knows in order. And I'm going to start with question number one, which is, before we get into these demos, I want to talk about the subject of personal branding. So I'd like to get a sense from each one of you of what it means to you to have a personal, when you think of a personal brand style in what you each do for a living, what does it mean to you? And before I go to Tania, to me, as someone that does personal branding, when I talk about style, people's vision always go to what we're talking about today, which is the outer look. But to me, personal brand style has everything to do with how you carry your authentic self and your voice, how you communicate. Are you a speaker? Are you a writer? Are you funny? Are you factual? So that's me. Now I'm going to go right into Tania. What do you, when you think of personal brand style, or somebody asks you like, hey, Tania, you're a personal brand stylist, what do you say to them?
Yeah, so really, before I can style a woman, it's getting to know them, their story, their role, their goal. And then that way I can help to paint a picture for what their style should look like, but with clothing. So we're all so different. I'm a personal stylist. I'm very vibrant and energetic. So when I work with clients, whether they're divorce lawyers, opera singers, fitness experts, it's all about defining those words that define you. What makes you different? What makes you memorable? And what's going to make you stand out from the other divorce lawyers and fitness experts,
exactly,
et cetera. So, and then once we have those words, I can create a vision board. I use Pinterest, I use magazine tears, and then we can get into the colors, the look, the mood, the attitude, and put the style together from head to toe. Because I have three of my clients are all divorce lawyers. And what do you immediately think of? Oh, a navy suit. But one of them's got like bright red hair and she's sassy. So I put her in bold colors. My opera singer, more creative. I put her in like brocades and silky fabrics. My fitness experts are very like superhero. They don't like fringe and loose things. So it's like, you know, bold colors and asymmetry. So that personal brand style is a way to express yourself on the outside. And that way you can like attract ideal clients and people to you by just showing up and being dressed in a way that represents you and your personal brand.
I love it. Couldn't agree with you more. And that's what it's all about, being an individual. And I love how you can work with them and help them feel good in their clothes. So Fallon, I'm going to go to you next. What do you think about personal brand style?
So I really love, Jasmine, when you talk about bringing the inner to the outside, and like it's who they are and their voice, because that's what I try to do. I try to have a like extremely long consultation with a client the first time because I want to feel their energy. I want to see how they dress. I want to learn about their lifestyle and, you know, realistically how often they're going to maintain their hair according to how, you know, impatient they are, if they can sit in a chair or not. You know, because if somebody, you know, doesn't want to sit too long, they can't do like a 6-hour straightening treatment, for example. And if they don't want to get their roots touched up every 4 weeks, then they might not want to be platinum blonde if their hair is naturally black. So I try to factor in all of their life and all of their lifestyle. And I really feel like it has to, like you said, bring the inside to the outside. So fitting like their personality and their demeanor, their lifestyle, and it kind of flows with their clothing and their makeup. So yeah, I really think that's important to like have the hair fit into the whole picture because, you know, if somebody has really great hair and it goes with their look, people don't really notice their hair. They're just like, oh, you look great, you know, and they'll think like the hair looks how it's supposed to look. Versus if it clashes, that's when people notice. Or if there's like something off, that's you know, what people really notice. So I'm really big about like skin tone and facial features and bone structure, which we'll get into later. But yeah, that's why like I think the hair should kind of just tie everything together for the personal brand, and then it won't detract. It's just going to make their brand more powerful.
You know, I love what you said, Fallon, because you know, your hair can look beautiful, but if you're someone like Tania was saying, the athletic person, and you're out there, you know, and you're doing multiple things, I think understanding that, and most hairstylists won't consult you on, you're here and you're going outside and now you got to put an umbrella because maybe it's raining, but what about when you're at the gym, and what about when you're doing this? Mm-hmm. So I think it's great that you really understand who the person is and what they do to understand their hair. It's fantastic. Devorah, love to hear what you have to say.
So I guess we all have a kind of similar approach for things. And I think it's wonderful because we're all in a creative industry where people come to us to kind of change up not who they are, but what their exterior looks like. They know who they are, but they just need our help, a little boost from us to actually express it to the world, because maybe they're not showcasing that in the way that they want. So with makeup and personal brand style, people come to the studio and they say, you know, words, but I actually have to have a mental picture of what that actually would transfer to on them themselves. So they'll come in there, and there's people that are like, oh, I don't really want so much makeup. I don't really want to be the star of the room. But some people want to come in and have that big energy of the glitter and the lashes and the red lips. And I love both of those people. And I love people that fall in the middle. So it's really wonderful seeing someone walk into the door. And I'm sure the women on this panel can agree, because when women don't feel good about themselves, they carry themselves schlumpy like this. Excuse my Jewish Brooklyn, my schlump. They'll come in schlumpy, or they'll come in and then when they leave, they'll feel so much better. Their posture changes and they'll stand up straight, and you feel the automatic like boost of happiness in them. So our job, and my job specifically, is to get that boost of happiness out and make sure that radiates through the whole entire day, night, whatever it is. So it's just kind of exploring what they want and kind of giving them what they want.
Okay, great. Yeah. I mean, I like the schlump analogy, because it's true. You know, as soon as you said it, I was like, oh, my posture, you know, which is a whole nother show. Okay. So next question. This is a big question I have, and I think a lot of women have it and maybe they don't admit it. So I'm just going to go for it. So where do each of you think that women struggle with their own beauty? Tania.
Well, working with women over 40, I know when I turned 40, it was just like a whole new image, a whole new ball game, a whole new, you know, perception of yourself. And I'm 48 now, and most of my clients are over 40s, 50s, 60s. I have a couple clients in their 70s, and we go through changes. We go through changes in our bodies. I always say like the 4 H's, right? Heritage, hormones, happiness, and health can all affect, you know, our bodies, our self-perception. So I think what women struggle with is accepting their age, accepting the body they're in now, and really just owning it. And I'm in this more than just, you know, styling women one by one and changing the look of leadership one woman at a time. It's really about changing the dialogue that we as women run in our own heads. Oh, if I was just 20 years younger. Oh, if I was just 20 pounds thinner. Stop it. Like, check out Lizzo. Like, check out, you know what I mean? Like, now more than ever, skin tone, body shape, age. Judi Dench is like the oldest woman to be on the cover of Vogue magazine. Like, finally. So we're in this day and age where, you know, age, variety, background, your color, your body shape, thank goodness, is finally being accepted more than ever. We still have a long way to go. And it's not just the magazines, the media, and Hollywood that puts the pressure on. It's our own women. It's what our mothers have told us. It's what our grandmothers have told us. And like, undoing that. That's why my approach is style is self-care, and really learning to accept where you're at, learning to work with what you got. When I first had to start wearing glasses, I was like, no, my eyesight. And now I'm like, you know what? Glasses are part of my, you know, statement and my image. So I think women really struggle with accepting the changes that their body and career and, you know, those moments in life that make you feel vulnerable, and really using your clothing and your image to pull it together and create that confidence so you can really feel like who you are now and where you're going next.
Tania, I swear, I'm just going to quick anecdote here. I had probably an hour and a half phone call with someone yesterday in the fashion industry. And this is exactly what we were talking about. And what we came out of it just very quickly is that this whole concept of aging and women debunking that in a way where we say, you know what, no, you know, we aren't as old as people think we look, or that they think we should feel. And we talked about the fact that it's up to women, and this is one of the reasons I do Warrior Women in Business, to really help each other, empower each other, excuse the word, but really to help each other to say, you know what, you do look great. You know, you are wonderful. And, you know, don't let that number scare you. So I'm really happy you brought that up, Tania. Go ahead, Fallon. What do you have to say on this?
So I think a lot of women struggle with finding what they want with their hair because for me, when someone comes to me, a lot of times they show me a photo and sometimes it's not realistic because maybe their hair has been, you know, dyed dark with a box color for 20 years and they want to be platinum, or maybe they want, you know, Angelina Jolie's hair, but they really just want her face. Because sometimes I could do the exact, you know, thing as an image, but on the person, it's going to look differently. So I always suggest, you know, talking to a professional about what's possible. Also, having realistic expectations as far as how long something's going to take. Sometimes, like, for example, if someone does have really dark hair and they want to be really light, you know, I'll tell them like it's, you know, come back every 8 weeks and each time we'll do a full head highlight, but that way your hair is not going to break off. So just more realistic. I think that's what some people struggle with, and for the health of their hair, because I think that's the most important, because it doesn't matter if someone's hair color is cool, if it looks like fried, it's not going to look that great. So we want to make sure that like our hair looks healthy. And also I try to tell people, try to get someone's like face shape that's similar to yours if you're going to look for a photo. Try to get someone's hair texture that's naturally similar to yours, because a lot of times with these, you know, the balayage highlights, all of the hair is like curled. There's texture to it, so it really, really shows off the highlight. And if you wear your hair straight all the time, it's not going to look like that. So try to just find, you know, facial features, bone structure, and, you know, how you style your hair. Try to find all that when you're looking for what you actually want. And then, you know, making sure it's realistic and coming up with a plan.
Thank you. Devorah, what do you have to say about challenges in beauty? And
Definitely, as Tania said, women need to stop with the facade that they're not aging. Even me as a younger person, I'm aging myself and I am noticing changes, not as big as someone who's over 40, but I still notice changes with myself. So when I have clients that come to me and they're in their 40s, and even when you're in your 20s, you're starting to develop not necessarily wrinkles, but different type of texture to your skin. So let's stop pretending we don't have pores. Let's stop pretending we don't have wrinkles. Get your Botox if you want it, get the filler if you want it, do what makes you happy. But let's not pretend that we all have skin like an 18-year-old, because I'll have clients come in and they're like, you know, I just want to cover everything. I'm like, why? Why do you want to cover everything? But so that's definitely an issue that I see with women, is just accept yourself. That doesn't mean that you look bad. That doesn't mean that you look great. It's just accepting yourself. Hey, this is where I am in my life, and this is what my body, my skin, my mind feels like. And let's just accept that and let's better that. And another thing that I really notice with women is, especially when you're in that age where you have a lot of responsibilities, we feel guilty to spend money on ourselves. Let's stop that. Let's spend money on ourselves. We work so hard as mothers, whether you're a stay-at-home mom or whether you're a Forbes CEO. Let's spend money on ourselves. Let's treat ourselves to beautiful skincare products, to consultations with professionals. Let's buy that $200 dress that you would really not in general. Like, let's just treat ourselves more kindly, because we would never second guess to spend that money on a gift for someone else or on meat for a husband or whatever it is. So let's just treat ourselves really kindly, and let's give some of that back to ourselves.
I really love what you said about acceptance. You know, yeah. I think that's one of the main reasons one of the reasons I wanted to do this today is because people are having a hard time accepting that they have to be on Zoom, and accepting that the world is not changing, but it changed, right? And so the more that we accept ourselves, the more that we can strip down and not have makeup on sometimes, which could be very hard for me, but you know, and let our hair down. Like, I haven't had my hair done in so damn long, it's a rat's nest. But you know, just accepting ourselves strangely makes us feel better. So I'm really happy that you brought that up. Okay, question 3. So how have you seen your clients change the way they do business? How have you seen the way that they're doing business now, since Zoom has become an essential for them? Tania.
Well, I have there's kind of like, there's these three different situations that my previous clients and new clients that are coming to me with. So women like us who are business owners. And for some of us, our business models were virtual and online. So business as usual. And if anything, business is happening even more, products and services. Then there's women working with a new client. She's in the process of interviewing. Can you imagine interviewing in this like time of chaos and challenges? And she really needs to be camera ready to give her that confidence to interview, to get the job, so that she can take care of her husband, her child. You know, she's been working from home and just working hard in the interview process. Then there's my clients that work in corporate. Oh my gosh, my clients who are like partners of law firms, who are, you know, VPs and accountants, my clients who are financial advisors. They're like, don't talk to me. I'm working 12-hour days just to figure out, you know, all the new, you know, PPPs and the tax loans and everything. So there's kind of like these three, and unfortunately, some people who've either been furloughed or laid off. So there's kind of these three situations going on. So Zoom and virtual presence and being online is actually booming and exploding. I think Zoom users went from like 3 million to 200 million in like 3 months, something crazy like that. So while some of you listening, no matter what your situation is, this is actually an opportunity to connect. You can connect with people in other cities, in other countries. I've been on some women's business, and I'm also on the board for the Women National Association of Women Business Owners. And we've been hosting online networking events. I met a woman from Nigeria who works in women's empowerment. She and I had a conversation. We might be collaborating. I met a woman in Scotland. So right now, it's like now more than ever, like get your image together. Get your image, your hair, your makeup, your outfits, get it together, because it's actually an opportunity to connect with people, opportunities, potential clients, like more than ever. And making those connections that we used to make in person, networking, interviewing. Oh my gosh, another one of my clients, she needs her tops she's getting interviewed now more. She just published her book. So like this, she's getting interviewed, and she's like hunkering up at her country house in Connecticut. And she's like, Tania, all I have are gray sweatshirts. Get me camera ready for my interviews for my brand. So it's really an opportunity to ask yourself, what is my situation? How can I use my virtual and online presence to network, connect, interview? There's still some goals, and business is still happening. So really be dressed and ready to present your best self online, because there's opportunities out there.
Yeah, I love, thank you so much. And I love how you talked about the three types of people. That was perfect. Of course, I'm seeing this, you know, I've been doing personal branding forever. And that was what last show was about that this isn't, you could lay down and say, the business is over, I lost my job. 310 million people or something have applied for unemployment. You know, it's crazy. Or you could go the other way. You could say, this is an opportunity. You just have to pivot, and you have to have a personal brand that is just what you ladies were talking about, where not only are you looking good, but you understand who you are, and you can build that out. So I'm so glad you brought that up. Fallon, what do you have to say on this?
So I feel like a lot of my clients' businesses are changing because a lot of people are realizing that they might not be happy in their current job, because I think that this is really a time for reflection, because we have so much extra time right now. So I think it's like a really important, if people are utilizing the time for something good, even if they're unemployed, it's really like a means of self-discovery. Like, do I really love my job? Am I really satisfied in my life? What needs to change? So that's something I'm seeing a lot, is some of my clients are realizing they're not happy in their work. And, you know, in the Zoom meetings, and they're wanting to do a shift. Some people are opening new businesses or even pivoting slightly, and, you know, coming up with online ideas, because, you know, people don't know what's going to happen really, like with our future. So new businesses, new ideas, thinking about shifting their current jobs, figuring out what they really, really want to do, what's important to them. And I also am seeing a lot more collaboration, like between entrepreneurs. And I think like this definitely gives us an opportunity to collaborate with other people and, you know, really like share all the knowledge, and we all have more time to kind of, you know, give to our audience and stuff, all businesses, all entrepreneurs. And yeah, and I think that it's just, you know, it's really terrible what's happening, but it can be seen in a really positive way if people use it to really like discover themselves.
Yeah, I agree with you. It is a time where I think people are lucky because in a strange way, because instead of just waking up and doing the same thing every day, you're being forced to make a decision on what you want to do with that day.
Mhm.
And in my world, you know, it might be easier to say, you know what, I'm going to get a new haircut, or you know what, I'm going to go with a whole new line of clothing, or you know what, I'm going to go ahead and start a business. So give yourselves these opportunities. Dev, what would you like to say on this?
So I'm so lucky that a lot of my clients are wonderful working class people that are on the front lines, like nurses, doctors, medical staff. And it touches my heart. But I know that at the end of their 12-hour workday, they're coming home, they're depleted. Now, in regular life is what I call it, when before quarantine or hopefully after quarantine, when you don't feel great, you're feeling meh, what do? You go get a haircut, you go get some new clothing, you do anything to make yourself feel good, you go out to a nice restaurant. We don't have these opportunities right now. So my clients are really looking for ways to feel good about themselves. So I've noticed a huge shift with virtual lessons, whether it be makeup, skincare, hairstyling, whatever it is. And people are trying to learn to do that at home. So I've seen a huge shift from that. I've just also seen a huge shift of people just trying to be more informed about our businesses in general. I just don't, you know, it used to be like that you just blindly trust your stylist or anything like that, which is amazing because that means that they have confidence in us. But now I find that most of my clients are actually super informed and they want to know about every process with it. And it's a wonderful thing. They're learning more. They have more time to learn. And yeah, I just think that they're just looking for ways to comfort themselves at home.
Absolutely. And education right now is big. You know, you said lessons. So we've launched, we normally do offline events, and I have a whole Warrior Women Entertainment Collective. So now all those amazing people are like, what do we do? It's like, let's do this online. So we can still do the dance lessons. We have an art lesson, a boxing lesson coming up. Anybody out there, like me, I'm a singer songwriter, but anybody out there that's a performer, contact us, because we don't want people to lose that excitement. And furthermore, to your point, Dev, we don't want people to think that it's just work. I mean, who wants to be on Zoom if it's always working? No one. So I like that you talked about that social outlet and people thinking that way. Okay, only a couple more questions, then we're going to get into the demos. So in your world of beauty and style, my favorite question for all my podcast guests is, in your specific world of beauty and style, I'll start with Tania, how would you define a warrior women in business?
Yeah, good question. And it comes down to a common theme for me, because people are always trying to say, well, Tania, who's your, you know, ideal target client, or who you drawn to? And first, when people hear personal stylist or personal shopper, they think like, oh, rich women on the Upper West Side or Upper East Side. But really, my approach to personal styling is to style women who are using their fame, their talent, and their influence for a greater good. And I've been so blessed and lucky over the last 7 years in my business. And it's almost, I don't know if it was a conscious choice at the beginning. Like my mantra at the beginning was like changing the look of leadership one woman at a time.
Yeah.
You know, because we have Malala. Malala's a leader. She's not showing up in a Navy suit, right? She's got her traditional Pakistani, you know, head wrap. You've got Michelle Obama, the first African-American first lady, who would show up in sleeveless dresses. I like to say exercising the right to bear arms. So it's really, for me, it can be about the celebrity, but they're using their fame, their know-how. They've worked their way to the top because they've worked their way to their top. They weren't born with a silver spoon in their mouth. They weren't entitled. They weren't born into like rich, famous parents. These are women. Some of my clients are like, oh my gosh, in male dominated industries. One of my clients is one of the few women in cybersecurity, in biotech, in sustainable financial investments. Like, I'm like, what the hell is biotech? Like industries that I haven't even heard of, let alone male dominated. So I'm like so freaking proud and excited to like style these warrior women in business, to give them their like superhero outfits, to give them their armor, to give them their, you know, to use clothes. One of my favorite fashion designers is Alexander McQueen. And one of his quotes is, I want people to be afraid of the women that I dress, right? It's like those warrior women in business. So I'm like thrilled to be able to style women like you, Jasmine. You're like a freaking rock star at night and a businesswoman during the day.
That is me.
Warrior women in business are really women moving and shaking, changing the status quo, but really using their unique talents and influence and know-how to for a greater good.
Yeah.
You know, to really elevate society and move things along in a positive direction.
Thank you for sharing that. Fallon.
So I feel like warrior women in business, like these women just exude power. Like it's power, authority, being firm, being unapologetic, like setting their boundaries, sticking up for themselves, but like still coming from a loving and like kind place, right? So I think like that's the best of both worlds. Like we don't want to be kind and like meek because we might not get anywhere. But we don't want to be like, assertive is great, but like going to the point of aggressive. Yeah. Also, we want to like build, everyone up around us. So I really think like leading by example and being powerful, but still kind and loving is, that's what it means to me.
Wow. Fallon, so my background's with IBM, and I also am the president chapter of Hockey Players in Business, both all men. And you know what I found in my many years, and one of the reasons I started this is that women tried to be, like to Tania's point about wearing a navy blue suit. You know, I think that's what you said, right? Is that women try to overcome and get business by being like men, like this A to Z instead of A, B, C, D, E, F, G, no nurturing, you know what I'm saying? So I really love what you said, and I don't think any guest has said that. So I want to applaud you on saying that, talking about the fact that a warrior woman, her ability to nurture is just as powerful. So I love what you said. I'm gonna have to quote you on it. Dev, what would you have to say on that?
For me, a warrior woman in business is someone who is accepting of all things happening throughout life and throughout business. We go on this chart and this flow that we have so many highs and so many really crappy lows. And it's someone that's accepting and can come out of those lows saying, I made lemonade from lemons, and just super positive. And you're right, when I think the whole panel agrees that, we had this idea of like, if you imagine a divorce attorney, you think the navy blue suit. I think maybe the short highlighted haircut and like, just like with a chunky heel. That's what I think about. And now in 2020, where we're at with society, it could be someone with purple hair. It could be someone that wears these beautiful white jumpsuits. That could be a woman in business. And for me, it's individuality, it's non-traditionalism, and it's saying, you do your business this way, I'll do it my way, and we're okay with the different ways that we'll do business. And most, out of everything, the number one trait for a warrior in general is kindness. And it doesn't have to be a woman, it doesn't have to be a man. If you're a kind person, you are a warrior. And that's pretty much it, yeah.
Absolutely. And kind people can change the world.
They do.
So, I really love that you said that. Okay. So before we get into the demos, I want you each share one or two, up to you, secrets about how you personally, on a daily basis, keep up with your own style. Like, what's your own little secret, Tania?
Well, given the climate we're in, and when the stuff hit the fan like 8 weeks ago, it was pajamas and hiding under the covers and just trying to get through. I showed up for a couple like women's networking calls, but just in like more soothing colors, because the mood then wasn't like, let me show up in bright poppy colors and everything's okay. It was like I showed up in like soothing colors and neutrals just to like show up and like I'm here. We're like, 6 to 8 weeks later, and there was a point too where I was like, style, who cares about style right now? Style is superficial. Everyone's just wondering, do they still have a job? How are they going to make their rent or their mortgage? Like, what's going on? How do they stay safe? How do they stay healthy? But then I realized that style really does have a place. And once everyone started to work from home, that created one home where everything is happening. This is your place of rest. This is your place of work. This is a school. This is a workout gym. This is a Saturday night dance party. This is right? So for me, my style hacks are delineate your day and delineate your outfit based on what your day is like. So I like to separate into like workout time, productive time, show time, what we're doing right now, right? We're live on camera on Zoom, and then downtime. And then delineating those outfits. So then you actually are delineating those times of day. So I had some clients that were like, oh, I went for my walk in the morning, or I did my workout, my yoga, and they stayed in their sweatsuit and their sweatpants while they were working and talking to clients. And it was like, it just felt weird. Like they were like, how come I'm in a different mindset? One of my clients made the mistake. She's like, the day I wore slippers all day, I was totally off. But when she put on like her power flats, the day went better. She was on point. So it's delineating those outfits. So I'm so crazy. Like I line up my top 5 Zoom tops so that Monday through Friday, like this, I'm like, when am I going to be on Zoom? I have 5 tops hanging and ready with like necklaces ready to go. This way, there's no like thinking about it. And then I do get out of my workout gear and my pajamas. And at the end of the day, I get out of the nice blouse and the jewelry and the glasses, and I put on like some nice cozy like loungewear, so I look cute for my husband and look cute for myself. And then that also helps the mind to go, the work day is done. So it's really using your clothes and your style to support your mood, to support your mindset, and create that productivity. Because if you're showing up online on Zoom calls, like rolling out of bed, messed up hair, no makeup, and pajamas, it's giving people the wrong impression. It's like, oh, I don't give a shit about myself. Oh, sorry. I don't give a darn about myself.
Warrior women swear. That's another attribute.
Well, if it looks like you're not caring about yourself, how are people perceiving you? So that's my suggestion, is delineate your day, downtime, workout time, productive time, show time, have your top 5 Zoom tops lined up for Monday through Friday. And then change at the end of the day. Go into your cozy pajamas behind the scenes where no one's seeing you, so that you can rest your mind.
Yeah, seriously, Tania was amazing. It's like for my business, I work from home before COVID, and I completely agree with you. If you think about it, you wouldn't walk into a board meeting to present a speech in a gray sweatsuit, you know what I mean, with a hat on. So yes, I love it.
The guy in Miami?
No.
The lawyer in Miami, the female judge had to scold him because he showed up for virtual court with no shirt on. She's like, this is still a court appearance. Put your shirt on. Like you said, working from home, there's no difference than the boardroom, the office, the workroom.
I love it. So Fallon, I just got to say something before I ask you the question. So, as Tania said, I run Warrior Women in Business. I work with my clients in Zoom, and then I'm a singer-songwriter in a band, and we're doing online concerts all the time. So I actually have like my color hairsprays always ready to go. And I think it can be a fun thing. So I'd love to hear what you have to say on this subject.
Yeah, so that's something I'll go into the demo, the color hairspray, but
Cool.
something personally that I do, I love curly hair. I work with a lot of clients with curly hair, not only curly hair, but I love, there's this product by Redken called Ringlet and Curl Refiner, 2 products. And basically, if you have curly hair or wavy hair or textured hair, it's the best thing to do. So first I put the primer, which is called Curl Refiner, about a quarter size, and I flip my head upside down. And I finger comb it when I'm in the shower. So I actually have my hair products in the shower when my hair is wet. I kind of just squeeze out the water first, because if you do a towel with curly hair, it's going to frizz. Then I take the next product, which is Ringlet. It's a pump, and I do about 2 pumps. And same thing, I run my fingers through it. Then I just squeeze the curls and let it dry. Now, if you have curly hair, you're probably going to hate it for the first hour, because it just looks really flat, and then this starts to dry. But after it's dry, then you kind of flip your head upside down and just massage the roots. You never want to brush or comb curly hair, and then it's just going to be like springy, gorgeous curls. So that's a quick thing I do, and it literally in total takes like 30 seconds. You're just putting the product in, not touching it, and then fluffing it after. So that's my secret.
I love it. Your hair looks great.
Thank you so much.
Devorah, what's your secret?
So I might be the minority, but I'll probably be the only makeup artist that anybody's ever met that really doesn't wear makeup. I'm not wearing any now. I don't really wear makeup. It's so funny because I do it all day for other people that the last thing I want to do is put it on myself. So, and I love it because I started off as a young adult who had terrible acne, and I would wear like literally a pound of makeup on my face. And I've grown into a young woman, now a real woman, an adult woman who is totally okay with going barefaced, even on live in front of how many people. So that's my own personal style, and the way that I embrace that and keep up with that, especially in quarantine, is number one, I'm still keeping up with my skincare routine. So important, because right now I wear a mask when I go out everywhere but my house. A mask is like almost like a cage for your face. So a lot of people are actually getting really terrible acne and pimples on the lower part of their face because the mask is not letting air in. So oil and moisture gets trapped in there. So many people are getting these crazy rashes. So it's so important for me personally to keep up that skincare routine. And it has not changed, still using the same products. So that's something that I'm super diligent about. The second thing is totally unrelated, but I'm still eating well. I'm not noshing like crazy. Of course, there's here and there, you're always going to get a craving between the banana bread, the chocolate chip cookies. The world is going crazy for these items, but I'm still eating healthy because I still want to fuel my body, because the outwards appearance is controlled by what's happening on the inside. So I'm still getting those salads in, I'm still getting the healthy proteins, and I'm making sure to keep both the skincare and the inner health on track. So when quarantine is over, I can really maintain that lifestyle still.
Devorah, I'm so glad you brought that up, because I'm just going to get a little bit personal here. So I since I don't know, my 30s, I started getting these rashes. And I noticed from the mask that I've been getting rashes in my ear, my face. And I noticed that if I pay more attention, like just much more attention to how I wash the mask with Woolite and use more rubbing and more alcohol, it's really helping. So I think that's actually very, very important that you bring that up. Very. So thank you for everybody that has sensitive skin like me. Okay, so now I'm going to get into the fun part of this show. So I'm going to start with Tania. And I'm going to ask her to do a demo for us in her area of expertise.
Yeah, so just some do's and don'ts for what I call camera ready style or Zoom ready style. Just to break it down with color. So color is a mood enhancer. Color, which, Deb, you probably know is from makeup, and Fallon is the proper hair color. But color should use to enhance and really just add a little glow and color to your cheeks. Color should not like wash you out or drain you or make you look drab. And the trick with Zoom and being on camera is lighting can be terrible, low res cameras. So like you can look like washed out or ashy or drained more than ever. So you're gonna wanna avoid like wearing all white, and look what it even does to like the camera, like the light tries to adjust. So you wanna avoid wearing all white. It's gonna wash you out and just be, you know, too much on camera. And then see what the light is doing, trying to adjust. Black absorbs light. So if you're really fair or really pale, like black is going to absorb light right against your face. Now, it doesn't mean like, oh my gosh, don't wear black.
Okay.
It just means, yeah, it's also a style choice. Black can be very chic, very elegant. If black has a little bit of a sheen to it, it can look rich on camera. Now, if you've got a lot of black in your wardrobe already, then it's just about like find a little, you know, if you've got black jackets or black cardigans, just like pop the black with a little bit of color. This way the black won't feel so, you know, sallow or washing you out. And you're totally allowed to wear prints on camera, right? Like Fallon's wearing a pretty print top, you're wearing dots, I'm wearing pink. But what you'll want to do is like avoid prints that could get like a little too busy and dizzying. This has a lot of white in the background, so very high contrast black and white prints. You don't want to do anything that's going to be distracting. So if you put it on and look in the mirror and all you're doing is staring at your top, like, you know, it's distracting. Stripes, like really, really high contrast bold stripes, while they can be fun. I actually have a friend who's a fashion stylist. She's been doing that, but that's her statement, right? She's bold. But this can get a little like, woo, people are just staring at your top. And I love that you're wearing polka dots. See the difference between this. Now this is okay. The dot is even, it's got a black ground, but be careful that, you know, if it looks too dizzying on camera, that's your gauge. What's really stylish right now are like these prints with a black ground, but gorgeous, rich prints on top of them.
Pretty.
And I always say, like, match a necklace to every blouse, right? There's a little hint of green in here. It's picking up on the green from the blouse. Like, I literally hang up 5 tops like this, just like blouse, necklace, blouse, necklace. Now, if you're wearing print, the print is busy, and that's the statement. So you can keep the jewelry more simple. This isn't about like, oh my gosh, I have a big print and I have big earrings and I have a big necklace. Like, the eye doesn't know where to land. So always frame the face, right? If you wear glasses, always think of framing the face, but don't make the jewelry like too big or busy or distracting. Scarves are also a great way to soften up, to just add. Just be careful for some women, if you've got larger chests, if you're a little rich on top, the scarves can actually add bulk. So what happens is whatever's closest to the camera is going to appear larger, right? If I've been talking the whole time like this, people are like, giant hand. So women with, you know, fuller chests, women who are really rich on top, you want to be careful with scarves because it might just add too much bulk. V-necks are great. Creating a V is very flattering. It's going to draw the eye up and down. Just make sure it's not too low. But putting just like a really pretty soft scarf down the neckline of a jacket will just add a little print and detail. And then if you are going to wear like some fun solid tops, you can go a little more fun with the jewelry because it's a solid top, right? So you can get a little more adventurous or a little more simple. So in terms of color, like avoid black and white, avoid the busy prints, look for beautiful, like happy, juicy jewel tones, reds, oranges, pinks. And it doesn't mean it can't also be beautiful, rich, like deep jewel tones as well. That's all about tapping into the energy you want to present. Like, you know, my fitness experts who are high energy, but like my yoga instructors, they're wearing more soothing colors, right? They're going into beautiful soft greens. Blues are a soothing color. One of my clients is a therapist, and she's just been wearing like neutrals because it's soothing. So those would be my do's and don'ts. Think about color, think about your eyewear. One of my friends was like, Tania, do you have a different pair of glasses for every like outfit? And I kind of do. Like, I plan different glasses based on my different outfits. And let me tell you, I was on a networking call and one of the women had these big red fabulous glasses, right? So we're staring at a Zoom screen with like 25 tiny little images. Your eye is going like this. It's like, who are you noticing and why? Who's fading into the background because they didn't like, but everyone's like, oh my gosh, I love your red glasses. So that woman is the one that people are going to continue to connect with on LinkedIn. I emailed her. I was like, honey, I love your style. Like, let's talk. So use the color in the print accordingly, but also don't be afraid to make a little bit of a statement and use a style, a color, an element, or accessory to become memorable.
Okay, Tanya, question.
Stand out. Yes.
Any comments on hats?
I would say no to hats just because lighting can be tricky. It might create shadows and shade. I mean, it depends. If you're like, I'm a stylist doing a how-to video and I want to look cute with hats, it's really about now also coordinating your masks to your outfits. Like my clients that are going, you know, doing their little workouts, like some of them have different color mats depending on their different like outdoor outfits. But hats, I would say no. Too cumbersome, too much of a frame, too distracting, and it's going to create shadows.
Thank you, Tanya. Amazing. Okay, I'm going to change my wardrobe now. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to go Devorah next, I think.
Yeah. Well, Tania, I want to say first, you said happy, juicy jewel tones, and that's going to be my phrase going forward. And I wrote it down in my notebook because it made me want to wear jewel tones. Okay, so I'm going to basically show everyone that's watching a 3-minute little Zoom tutorial. Of course, we're at home. We don't really want to be wearing heavy makeup, but we still want to look presentable. So I really made it super minimal. Things that I have in front of me, 1 sponge and 2 brushes. And this is just going to elevate your whole look. I really tried to keep it simple. I'm going to mention the products as well as the brands, just because if you like something, that's what I'm using. But you can also reach out later and we can discuss products and if you want to do a drugstore. So to preface this, right when I wake up, I'm heading to the bathroom and I am also putting on moisturizer. I'm washing my face, cleansing, or using toner, moisturizer. I already applied that because I like to let it sit in for a little bit, but I'm using Argent's Ginseng Ultra Hydrating Energy Boosting Cream. And then I'm just going to go in with a liquid foundation. This is going to be Milk Makeup. It's called Blur Liquid Foundation. You can use a BB cream. You can use whatever liquid you want. I'm just going to put some in the back of my hand. And such a great multifunctional tool is a blender or a sponge. So I wet it because it is supposed to be used in a damp function. So I just put a little bit and I'm just literally just going in a little bit. This should really only take a few minutes. The reason why it's going to take me a little bit more is because I am speaking. So you just really want the look to be a little bit more put together. You don't really want to go for that red carpet look because that's not what you're going to be doing. And yes, you definitely want to look put together, but you don't want to look like you overdid it in any way. Unless that's your personal style and you're okay with that, then, and that's just you expressing yourself in a different way. And if that's you, go for it. But this is just super easy and pretty much blended out. I know it looks a little fair on camera. I'm sorry, but I will bring some darkness into it soon. All right, so that's foundation. That's making your skin look a little bit more even. Now, I'm someone that really doesn't wear a lot of concealer. So the next thing that I'm just gonna use is a little bit of bronzer. This is Hula by Benefit Cosmetics. And I'm just gonna take a nice little fluffy brush, and I'm going to use the same brush for bronzer and blush, which is the next step. And you want to use bronzer anywhere that the sun would really naturally hit your face. And you want to be super, super, super gentle. You don't want to like be like crushing your brush into your face because that's just not going to end up good, but you just want to be really gentle. And you want to think about like that sun-kissed look. Even though we're indoors and we're in quarantine, we want to look like we just came back from like St. Bart's or something like that. I'm just gonna quickly apply that. All right, next is some blush. And this is actually from my personal makeup kit. So I wanted to show you guys the real deal of how it actually goes down. So this is NARS Orgasm Blush. And I'm just gonna do a nice healthy amount. I'm a blush gal, and I think blush really makes the world of a difference. I don't know why the industry taught people just to put it on the apples. Put it on the nose, put it in the perimeters of your face, because that gives you a really youthful look. Think about like little girls, and they're just like red and running around in the fields or outside, and they just have this like natural, really beautiful glow. So it brings a lot of youth. So that's done. The face makeup is pretty much done. The next thing, if you do want to amplify your look a little bit, take an eyeshadow brush, take that bronzer, and just work it into your eyes a little bit. Don't need to complicate things. You don't need a PhD in blending. You just need a little bit of patience and the right products. Just giving some depth to your eye sockets. If you want to extend it, then you're doing an extra step and it will look fabulous. Okay, now last step, or second to last step, is some mascara. If you have a personal favorite, you can totally use this. I'll do one coat. You don't need the eyelash curler. Don't complicate it. It doesn't need to be complicated. Okay. You can do it on the bottom if you want. Just for the sake of this video, I'm not. I have really thick Middle Eastern brows, so I'm just gonna brush them out. And I got some mascara on me, but that's okay. If you want to do them, if that's something that you're a little bit self-conscious with, because I know a lot of women love a full brow look, then totally do that. And the last step is lip product. So I'm using like a lip oil, and it's colored. It's from Wander Beauty. And that's it. Just
Gorgeous.
a little bit goes a long way. That didn't take very long. The products were super minimal. It's also something that's not gonna super clog your pores. So you're not gonna have to scrub it with a Clarisonic after or whatever it is. It's simple, it looks fresh, it looks youthful, and it doesn't take too long of time to do it. So highly suggest doing something like this if you want to look presentable on Zoom for any business calls.
Okay, great. And we'll get a list of those products as well, right? And we can do that. Okay. I just have one question. How were you able to put your mascara on with no mirror? You're amazing, Devorah. Just get that.
Oh, I do have a mirror.
Okay. I was like, how is she doing?
I'm not Houdini, I promise. but I do have a mirror right in back of me.
Got you. Okay. Anyway, beautiful. Thank you so much. Okay, Fallon, hair.
Oh, Jasmine, I love that you talk about the root sprays. That's what I'm going to start with. So a lot of people are not getting their hair done because, salons aren't up and running right now and with the social distancing. So a lot of people ask me, what can I do about my regrowth? So one thing is Orbe, for example, L'Oreal also has them, has root touch-up sprays. So you can probably order them online, and they come in all different colors. So if you have dark roots and you have blonde hair, you can get the blonde one that will soften it. Just keep in mind that like the closer to the root, the thicker it's going to be. So you want to start maybe like 12 inches away and then move it closer, move it down slowly closer to your hair to see like what is the best amount of coverage for you. Because for example, if you have highlights and then you're just spraying the whole root really, really blonde, it's probably going to look lighter than your actual hair. Mm-hmm. So if you hold it more farther away, then you can get like a softer look. So that's one way. Also, you can talk to your stylist and do a root touch-up at home. You can get, like I've been doing that with my clients, a virtual touch-up where I walk them through step by step. If your stylist doesn't walk you through, maybe they can just send you the product and explain to you how to do it. So I would definitely suggest talking to your stylist first before you run out and get a color that might not match, and it might give you like demarcation lines. The next thing as a general rule, which I love that Tania talked about this, is the color for your skin tone. So I like to take something warm tone versus cool tone and hold it up next to my wrist and my eye. So, you know, the warm tones are red, as long as it's not blue based, and yellow and orange. And then cool tones in general are like violet and blue and green. So the way you can tell what hair color works best for you is if you hold it next to your wrist, like I just grabbed like an orange and a blue. You hold it next to your wrist, you want the color that brings out the pink in your skin, because that's going to make you look younger and more fresh with hair color. And you want the color that doesn't bring out the veins. So usually it's one or the other. I only met like 2 or 3 people, and I have like 350 regular clients that they're pretty much equal. Most people have a definite, they need the cool or warm hair color. And that can go with blonde. You can have gold or more platinum or more silver. That can also be red. You can have like a orangey red copper, or you can have like the violety red. Browns can also be a cool tone or warm tone. So basically, you know, people say blonde doesn't work for me. Well, you just might need a cool shade of blonde, and you might have to use a purple shampoo or get a toner more often to accommodate, to prevent the gold from coming back, the hair from turning back yellow. So, and then you can also hold it up next to your eye. So you want to go with the tone that brings out the eye color and not the under eye circle. So cool tones for me normally bring out the under eye circle more, and warm tones for me normally bring out the eye color more. So that's the way I like to see what type of tones you should work with. And hair cutting, you know, I don't really suggest that people cut their hair, although I have done some people that really can't stand it online tutorials. So you could also talk to your stylist, but I will show you a quick bang trim. So I got my household shears to make it more realistic. So whether you have tiny shears or big shears, either works. So you want to start with just a 1 inch across triangle section. And I just like to use my fingers, but a little triangle. And I like to go about 1 inch back. And then as you cut, I just cut my bangs, so I can't recut them, but you want to just do a little bit at a time, obviously. You don't want to go too much because then it will look bad. And then you want to cut up. I'm cutting a little bit now, but up. And you can also go at an angle, either way. And that's going to give you a softer look. And then you, from this section, you just take a wider triangle. You can actually go to like the corner of the eyebrows. And that kind of frames your face a little bit. So, and then try to get your sections even. You can use a comb. I just like to do my fingers. And then pull the sides to the middle. It's going to be a lot less room for error. It's going to leave the sides a little bit longer. And then same thing, just a little bit at a time, like this. So it just creates like a soft blended look. So it's not going to look like you messed up if you cut, you know, it's easier for errors instead of just going like this, and then you could kind of see where it's jagged. And then also just think about for your zoom, like wherever the hair lands on the face is the feature that it accentuates. So if you want to accentuate your eyes, you should probably have a fringe. If you want to accentuate your cheekbones, you know, like with top knots and stuff, I like to leave some pieces down, and that really like accentuates the cheekbones. If you have great lips, maybe when you get it cut, you can get the angle starting at the mouth. It also works for what you want to hide. So some people don't like their nose, for example. So I wouldn't suggest like having hair that just lands right there. Because see, it just makes my nose more noticeable rather than any other feature. Also, same thing with the neck. Like if people's necks are very long and they want to bob, you should get a cut in the middle of the neck. That's going to kind of stop it from looking longer. If the neck is really, really short, you know, you just have to keep everything in mind for balance. So if it's really, really short, you want to elongate. So I would suggest starting like maybe at the top of the neck for the bob. And then also you want to accommodate styling and cut for your face shape. So if you have a really wide forehead, you should probably have some hair that covers instead of just wearing it back, because we want to kind of create balance and symmetry. It just, like I said, it just makes everything kind of cohesive and look like it's supposed to be like that. And if you have a really long forehead, you might want to get some type of fringe. Curtain bangs are really trendy and in style right now, which are shorter pieces here and then longer around the sides. So those can be really flattering. If you wear your hair up or you put it up, you can leave some of those pieces down, and that's going to help soften the face. Also, if you have if you have the bottom portion of your face a little wider, then you really want to create the volume through the top. So you can kind of do like, how people are wearing part of their hair up. So you just have to kind of balance. Also with your part, you want to make sure, I like to tell people, go with how your hair naturally parts so you're not fighting it and there's no weird cowlick, but you want to change the part slightly because if you keep the part in the same place for 30 years, the hair is going to start to thin because it kind of pulls on the hair there. So you want to make sure with a comb, you're even just changing it like slightly once in a while, but in the same kind of area. So you're not fighting against your hair. Also, I like to say for the parting, like the eyebrow that's higher, if you're going to choose the side, as long as your hair goes that way, it's better to part your hair on the side and expose the higher eyebrow. It's just going to open up the face. Another thing for parting your hair, most people's noses go to one side or the other. So if your hair can handle it, you want to part it in the opposite direction that the nose goes. Because if your nose is here and then your hair goes here, it kind of accentuates it versus balancing it out. Another thing you could take advantage of in Zoom is you don't have to wash your hair as much. So you can use dry shampoo. I really loved Orbe's dry texture spray. Again, you want to hold the product 12 inches away. I like to do it when the hair is upside down and just spray the roots everywhere. And kind of like I said with the curls, you're going to just massage the roots. And then you can spray the ends as well. And that's just going to give you more volume. And the last thing I will say is, well, actually two things. You want to go with your clothing. So for example, this hair isn't really doing anything because I have a pattern here. It doesn't really do much. So if you want to like wear a cool necklace or a cool neckline, it might be better to put your hair up. Like even me just doing that, it makes everything look better. It makes it look less messy. So some people don't like to wear their hair down, up. They don't feel comfortable. So one quick thing you can do is if you take an 1.25 inch wand or curling iron, if you have fine hair, you want to use about 300 degrees. If you have really thick hair, then you can use like 400. If it's medium, 350. You don't want to burn your hair. You want to use a heat protectant as well. So the easiest way is you just take sections and you wrap it away from the face around. And the quick thing you could do for Zoom, nobody's seeing the back of your hair, right? So you can literally just do that to the front and the sides.
Yeah.
And then put everything else back into like a bun. And you can just wand all the way around your hairline. And then after, you let it cool because the bonds harden once your hair cools. So it lasts longer. And then you can kind of finger comb. And then you can just take the hair loosely and pin it back into the bun. So that's something where a lot of people don't like their hair if it's, their face, if it's completely off. So you can just create the texture. So you can see like, this is a much softer look than this. So you can just do the front of your hair and that will look awesome. So that's it. I hope this helps.
That was amazing. Oh my gosh. I have so many ideas now. I have a question if you don't mind, Fallon.
Yeah, of course.
What about conditioner, leave-in conditioner, glossy spray, anything like that? Like if people have unruly, frizzy hair, anything about, because you said people aren't washing their hair that much, they're using dry shampoo. So what do you think about conditioners, leave-in, glosses, anything like that?
Yeah, so I am a big, the most important thing is find out your first 2 complaints. So is it dryness? Is it frizz? Is it moisture? Is it frizz and moisture? Dryness could be like curly hair, textured hair, for example, is naturally dry. But if your hair is lightened and it's dry because it's lightened, then it needs repair. So repair versus moisture are completely different. And then once you find out what the issue is, for example, if some people just haven't had their hair cut in 3 years, it's probably because the ends have just split and split and split. Because once the hair starts to split, it just keeps splitting and then it gets tangly. Or if somebody's been doing like box color at home, for example, sometimes it's a lot of ammonia on their ends all the time when they're pulling it through. So then that needs repair. So find out what your first 2 complaints are and then use products that specifically address those issues. So for example, that's the thing I love about Kerastase because they have hair that's been damaged from flat irons, hair that needs moisture, hair that needs repair, hair that needs moisture and volume, hair that needs moisture and weight. repair that needs volume, repair that needs weight. So it's like very, very, very specific. So I always say for shampoo and conditioner, use your number one complaint. So if it's moisture, if it's mending split ends, Kerastase also has a split ends line. And then for your second complaint, use a weekly mask that treats that. And if you're going to be styling or blow drying your hair, use a heat protectant that treats that. So for example, Kerastase has all of those things and all of the products and all of it. So you could use, like, I need moisture and repair because my hair is lightened. So I use a shampoo and conditioner for moisture, but then I use a weekly mask for repair. And then if I am going to style it, I'll use a heat protectant for repair. So that way you're addressing all the issues. Hope that helps.
Excellent, Fallon. Wow. I'm so happy that I got you on. My hair is going to be so amazing.
Yes.
All right, so we have some questions from the audience I'm going to read off. So Karen says, this was fun. What about, and this is for all of you, what about lighting, front or back? Any advice on lighting? Tanya, any advice on lighting? I'll just start with you.
Yeah, just quickly, natural light is best if you can be facing a window or natural light, but sometimes when you face a window and it's natural light, if it's too bright and harsh, it can wash you out. My friends have been recommending the social light. It's all one word, social, L-I-T-E, and you can, if you guys have another one, the trick is if you wear glasses, there's this smaller ring light that clips to the laptop, but it creates a reflective ring right in your glasses. So you need the ring light that's more like 12 or 14 inches. This way you have more of like a soft glow.
I'm waiting for mine to come. So thank you, Tanya. Fallon, have anything on lighting?
Yeah, so I actually, I like to have the window in the background, especially when I'm doing like, you know, videos in the evening or whatever, but I do agree with Tanya that that's the best light for my skin. So I just ordered 2 ring lights that are small and then they clip on, and you can also have a phone holder there if you're going to record from your phone. I like to put, if you're going to do computer and phone, try to have the cameras next to each other so you're not, you know, it doesn't look like you're looking in another direction. So I like to get, I got the ring light that is like 6 inches tall if you don't need it that high. And then I also got the one that's longer so you can kind of like move it around. And I also have the big one. So that's why I have light in front of me, even though the window's behind me. So I have all the lights, but it really makes a big difference. So I definitely suggest, unless, you know, the way your window's set up where it's like Tanya said, it's not too bright or too dark. If it's like, and your meetings are during that time of day, then I suggest like, you know, we probably should have additional lighting so it doesn't create, also doesn't create all these shadows on our face if we're just going from like our kitchen lighting or whatever.
Yeah, that's great. And so you have no blinds. There's no, people have questions about that, like no blinds for you to just straight up window, natural light, no blinds, no drapes.
Best is like if you have a sheer curtain, because then the lighting is diffused.
Mhm.
So like a sheer curtain, so the lighting's diffused, or you have to, it's tricky. If the blinds, the sun can come through and create vertical shadows. So like a soft sheer so that you have a diffused light.
Thank you. Devorah, lighting.
So I guess the consensus is natural lighting is the best lighting. It really is. Your skin, and you know, you just get such a beautiful radiance from natural light. So I do suggest that. I'm not fortunate enough to have a beautiful sunlight in my studio or in my office in general. So what you're seeing right now is light that's casted by a larger ring light. Ring lights can be rather inexpensive depending on your budget, and if you can afford to, you know, have that in your home, you can make them super compact. But I have about, I think it's a 14-inch diameter ring light. It's around $60 or so on Amazon, but my preferred lighting for applications in general is called the makeup light. It's rather expensive, so I don't suggest it for people who aren't working professionals needing that quality of light. But with ring lights, often you'll get that reflection in your pupil of the ring light. A lot of people prefer ring lights because what it actually does is it smooths out your whole entire face because it gives light to everything but your center. So it actually just makes your skin super smooth, which is why you see a lot of makeup artists using them in general. They're great for photography, great for video. So if you guys can either get natural lighting, I would do that first, but if not, totally get a ring light. It's okay. Create that artificial lighting. Do what you can because it really does elevate your whole video.
Okay, Devorah, a follow-up question for you on this, because you're the makeup expert. So with the ring light, would that affect the tint of any type of cream that you would use on your face? You know what I mean?
So there's definitely different types of lights, which is why I prefer the makeup light, which is a completely LED, like almost like a white light. Unfortunately, many light bulbs in general, and also the ring lights, they have a yellow tint to them, which is a warmer tint, which most people look better in, but it's not necessarily accurate. But if you don't care about the accuracy for the tints and things like that, then totally get a ring light or anything like that. But yes, there is a difference in bulbs and how they react to your skin and your makeup.
Okay, thank you. All right, next question. This was also for you, Dev. Okay. Someone asked, I sometimes get bad acne. What would you recommend I do to cover pimples and blemishes on camera?
Okay, stop. First of all, the first thing you want to do is contact a dermatologist or a skincare professional and find out the root of the problem. We don't want to cover up the acne without knowing how to treat it first, because sometimes the most obvious answer is to leave it alone, which I know we don't want to. So I would say if you already contacted a professional, what you want to do is you want to use something that doesn't have a lot of crazy ingredients. You want to go for something that's a little bit more natural, and less is really more. So if you just want to do a little bit of concealer on the spots that you do have acne, or if it's like an all over redness, you want to use something. I really do recommend that Milk Makeup. It's just super light, maybe a BB cream, something to even out the skin. But if you do have imperfections on your skin, I think it actually looks better when you embrace the imperfections, even with a BB cream, than completely caking it on. So, and I know, because it's really hard to be professional when you're self-conscious about things that are going on with your face, whether you just got braces, whether you're new to glasses, whether you have acne, because I've been through it all. It's really hard to try to be professional and try to keep that decorum like that, like at a high level. But just absolutely reach out to me. I know Jasmine's going to be providing links. I'm happy to walk you through a routine that might be perfect for you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, this is for Fallon. My hair gets oily within a few days. How can I make my hair less oily?
Awesome, I love that question. So there's a couple things you can do. One is you can use a shampoo specifically for oily hair, oily scalp. So Kerastase has one called Specifique. It's a white bottle. And the other thing you can do is alternate that with a cleansing conditioner. Redken's cleansing conditioner for normal hair, I recommend. It's called Genius Wash. And the reason is a lot of my clients, they found out they were overwashing their hair, their scalp was actually dry. So then the scalp tries to overcompensate by producing more oil. It's like if you don't wear moisturizer, your skin can actually be more oily. So I like to say alternating those, because the cleansing conditioner is just like hydrating your scalp instead of actual shampoo that's drying it out more, but it's also removing the oil. Another thing I suggest is a lot of people aren't properly washing their hair. So you want to take about a quarter size of the shampoo. I always recommend professional brands, even if you get like a $20 bottle, you know, they can go up to like $100, but I always recommend professional brands just because, for example, like L'Oreal. So they're the largest company. It's a pyramid. So Kerastase and Shuamura get the most up-to-date technology. And then their over-the-counter stuff used to be in Kerastase like 10 years ago. So it's just that the newer technology, like the nanotechnology and the parts per million in the products are just better. So I recommend professional shampoos. You want to take a quarter size and then massage your scalp only. We never need to put the shampoo through the ends. It's just drying out the hair and wasting the product. Then you're going to rinse really, really well. Then you do it again, nickel size. So we're decreasing the amounts of shampoo each time, so you're not wasting it. Otherwise, you could just be, using too much. And then you just scrub the scalp really well and then rinse. Sometimes I have to do that like 5 times. Like do a nickel size. You really are focusing on, you want it to lather evenly. So sometimes a lot of people, when they sweat, like under here, can have some oil buildup. So sometimes that's why I have to do it 5 times. Sometimes I have to do the underneath because this is all lathering really well, but I have to keep rinsing in between you're doing, you know, for the underneath. And the reason you're rinsing in between is because the first time you're kind of just mushing around the oil. And then the second time the shampoo is actually getting in there and like taking it off. And the third time it's your scalp's super clean. So we're just making sure it's evenly cleansed. So that's definitely, make sure you're shampooing correctly. Make sure you're using a shampoo that treats oily scalp. Alternate that with a cleansing conditioner. So I would start with, you know, shampooing every other day and the cleansing conditioner in between. So you're actually wetting your hair in between. As your scalp is healing and you're shampooing correctly and it's not over dry, you can start to space that out and use a dry shampoo. And then also the shampoo brushes, they're like $7 on Amazon. It's like a little circle and it has little like teeth, it's kind of like a brush. And I recommend the one with the bigger teeth. And then you can get in there with the shampoo and really, really massage it. So that's an easy way if somebody is having trouble, like really getting to it with their fingers.
Excellent. Love it. Okay, I think we're done with questions. I'm sure there's about 1 billion questions. I mean, I could keep you guys here all night with questions, but I won't. So for those of you that are watching and listening on Facebook, you will see a couple of links in there. One will be a link for you to fill out a form if you want a consultation with anyone here on the panel or want to talk to me about personal branding, but primarily these folks who have given, you know, so much time and really tactical information and advice. So I want to thank everybody for being on. That's first of all. And please do follow up with the form and then a few other things. So I know that all of you actually gave specific names of brands and different things. So we'll collect all of that information and we'll share that with everyone who has RSVP'd for today. So we get all that information as well. And then a couple of Warrior Women in Business announcements I'd like to make before we go here. So one is, you know, some of you know this and some of you don't. We've been behind the scenes in 2020, blueprinting a online platform to deliver business directly into the hands of women in business, to women in business, and provide opportunities for coaches and consultants. And we've been bootstrapping this and looking for funding. So since it's been very difficult, we have started a GoFundMe campaign for any women business owner out there that wants to get involved with this platform and wants to get involved as a coach or as a consultant, and you're looking for more business. So Molly, my assistant, who's in Facebook right now, will provide some information on that. We also have a couple of upcoming shows that I wanted to announce. So every week or other week now, we're taking all those folks that we have in our entertainment collective and trying to give them opportunities to teach, perform. Again, if anybody out there is a dancer, a singer, you know, a Broadway person and looking to perform, we're providing those opportunities. Also fitness people, Tania mentioned fitness folks. So we are doing a couple things coming up. One, we're having a art class coming up in 2 weeks with a woman who has a actual Broadway show on, we cover a lot on mental abuse and sexual abuse. So she actually delivers kind of like what I call sanctuary through art. So that's gonna be neat. We're gonna do a live art class. We also have a boxing class coming up with a USA boxing coach who teaches women on self-defense, but more importantly, it's fun. So we have a lot of cool things coming up in Warrior Women in Business. And again, the purpose of this program is to give opportunities to women like these great women to connect. We talked about that a lot today, the importance of, during this Zoom world that we're in, to communicate, to connect, to support each other, whether it's giving each other business or giving people advice. That's what we're here for. So again, I wanted to thank everybody for being on. We look forward to all the things we have coming up. And again, you'll see in Facebook, and we'll also be sharing post-episode a link so that any of you out there would like to talk to these tremendous ladies, Fallon, Tania, Devorah, who have all given us so much great advice so that we're gonna look great on Zoom and we're gonna feel better about ourselves. So thanks everyone, and we'll see you on the next Warrior Women in Business. Thank you so much.